This is the story of a girl who went online to look for houses and immediately felt like something wasn't adding up because everywhere she looked, people were saying the same thing. Rates used to be 18%. Be grateful. On paper, on graphs, it looks right, it sounds right. But if you're trying to buy a house right now, especially here in southern Middle Tennessee, it doesn't feel like something to be grateful for. It feels really hard. So let's talk about why. Right now, mortgage rates are sitting in the mid 6% range. It's not 3%, it's not 18%. We are right in the middle. And a lot of people are comparing that to the past without looking at everything else that's changed. Common sense would tell you that rates are not the only piece of the equation. What actually matters is the payment, and the gap between what things cost and what people can realistically afford right now is where all of this tension is coming from. What we're seeing online is exactly that, the back in my day comments. And honestly, most of those people haven't had to buy a house in a really long time. Because when they do have to buy a house right now, or when somebody close to them does, their perspective usually changes pretty fast. The data does show that rates were higher back then, but that is not the full picture. What the data also shows is that there is a massive shift in affordability. The average first-time homebuyer today is around 40 years old. In 1980, it was closer to 28. That is over a decade difference just to get into your very first home. And it used to take only one income to buy a house. Now, in Middle Tennessee, the average household income is somewhere between $72,000 and $85,000 a year. The average monthly payment for a first-time homebuyer right now is sitting conservatively around $2,000. This depends on taxes, insurance, it depends on a lot of things. But that number, $2,000, is $400 higher than what's typically recommended for that average income range. So when people say, just be grateful, rates aren't 18%, they're comparing two different realities. Today, buyers aren't just dealing with the rate, they're dealing with higher prices and tighter inventory and monthly payments that just take up the majority of their income. Let's walk through what that looks like in real life. Say you're buying a $325,000 house at today's rate, somewhere around 6.5%. You're looking at a payment that lands around maybe $2,000 a month. Now let's rewind a couple of years. Same house at a 3% rate, you're closer to $1,300 or $1,400 a month. That is a $600 to $700 difference every single month, and that is not small. It's groceries, it's childcare. That is a whole car payment. Don't even get me started on car prices right now. Some of them cost what a house should cost. When people say that they're going to wait until rates come down, what they're really saying is that they're going to wait until that monthly payment number gets into a range that feels manageable. But when rates drop, buyers jump back into the market, and when buyers jump back into the market, prices don't sit still. So you don't always get the full benefit of the lower rate. And that's why this decision feels so sticky for so many people right now, because you're not choosing between good and bad, you're choosing between hard and hard. Rock and a hard place, right? The part that hits locally in southern Middle Tennessee, the options in that price range, the 300 and under, is really limited. So it's not just can you afford the payment, it's what do you actually get for that payment. And that's where a lot of the frustration is coming from. People aren't just reacting to the rates, they're reacting to what their money actually gets them right now. So what do you actually do with all of this? First, you have to tune out the noise. The internet is full of people comparing today's market to a version of the market that does not exist anymore. Let's just call them bots and move on. It does not help you make a decision. You need to focus on your numbers and your timeline and your reality. Second, get really clear on your payment, not your purchase price. Most people will search based on that purchase price, and then whenever they go to talk to a lender, they're surprised by the payment amount. You gotta flip that around. Decide what monthly payment actually works for your life and then shop inside that range. Third, you're gonna have to widen your definition of what works. And that might mean looking at different neighborhoods, different cities, different property types, or even homes that might need a little bit of work. That has a lot of nuance to it. Buyers who are finding opportunities right now are the ones who are willing to adjust their expectations without completely blowing their budget. Number 4, you got to build a plan. That could mean buying something that works for now with the intention to refinance later, or stepping in at a lower price point and moving up when the numbers make more sense. Because at the end of the day, this isn't about winning an argument in the comments section on TikTok. And I know how hard it is to fight the urge. It's about making a decision that actually supports your life. And when you focus on that, the market gets a whole lot less confusing and a whole lot more manageable. If you're looking to buy in Southern Middle Tennessee and you need help navigating, let me know. I am happy to help.